Good afternoon, and welcome to the International Association of Emergency Managers webinar, Poster Showcase, Tips for Success. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Susma Sealy, and I'm the former chairperson of the IAEM Conference Committee and the co-lead of the Poster Showcase Working Group. Before we go over our format for today, I'd like my colleagues to introduce themselves. Kathy?
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Kathy Clark, and I'm the chairperson of the Training and Education Committee and also the co-lead for the Poster Showcase Working Group.
Hello, everybody. I'm Julie Husk. I'm the conference manager for the IAEM Annual Conference.
My name is Dwayne Hugans, and I'm on the Poster Working Group.
There's a member of our working group who is unable to join us today, and that's Dr. Jean Marie Cole. She has a hand in designing everything that we are looking at today, and as well as putting our program together. And we certainly would not have what we have without her. So let's move on. So here's what we're going to do for today. I just want to remind you all, everyone should be using their question boxes to send whatever question you may have. Julie will be monitoring those questions. And if we see that your question will not be covered in an upcoming slide, we will address it at the end during the Q&A. And it's also possible Julie may contact you separately. She may be able to answer it for you right there. And our purpose for the webinar and our hope is to put folks at ease and to answer any questions you may have about the Poster Showcase from abstract submission to presentation. To avoid confusion and for transparency, we use screenshots from the Poster Showcase guidance document and our IAEM website. I'm going to now turn over the webinar to Kathy.
Thank you, Susma. And in front of you is we're going to be starting our presentation here with the Poster Showcase page, which is actually located on the IAEM Conference website. And if you would like to follow along on that live, please go ahead and click on that link at the top of the page. The Poster Showcase is integrated into the IAEM Conference and has evolved in the past few years into what you see before you. The purpose of this Poster Showcase presentation is to convey to a wide audience the significance of an individual's research project, practice, or general findings to both practitioners and scholars in the emergency management community, as well as the general public. The Poster Showcase is open to students, academics, and practitioners. IAEM recognizes much of the work happening across the country and industry today happens at an organizational level. However, it's key to understand that the Poster Showcase is an opportunity to share the work of individuals rather than an organization. So I want to just emphasize that again, that we're focusing on individuals and not organizations. Participants chosen to display their posters will receive certificates of participation that document credit towards the IAEM certification program under Professional Contribution Category F, Speaking. The Poster Showcase call for abstracts is open now, and we encourage everyone to submit their abstracts. The IAEM Poster Showcase has evolved from accepting only students to practitioners, and in addition, having both competitive and non-competitive categories because we recognize the value in changing to better reflect our audience. So before we move on to the next slide, I would like to have you note if you're on this page or if you clicked on the live link, there's some arrows right in the middle of that at the bottom there, those blue arrows, and that you go ahead and click on those. That will get you to the speaker pages and more additional information. So we can go ahead, Julie, and go to the next slide. In the previous slide, we had the screenshot from the website with the Poster Showcase page. Very quickly, here's the information from the speakers pages. It's important to click on the links and the tabs to get all of the information that you need about the Poster Showcase event, the conference, and anything else. The Poster Showcase guidance document is on this page. The document has everything you need to know about the Poster Showcase event in one place. Please note the dates, but don't worry at this point if you can't make the conference. Of course, we want everyone to come to the conference, but what we really want is the professionals in our field to share what they're doing and what they're learning, what you're learning. While we review the program and steps to submit a potential abstract, a fabulous idea may pop into your head. Make sure that you have your pen handy and write that idea down before it disappears. Julie, are there some logistics that you would like to mention at this point?
The only thing I want to mention to everyone is what Kathy emphasized in the beginning of this, is that this document is where everything is. So it's very important that you read this document, take a look at it. There's examples, there's tips. It's telling you what they're looking for in your poster, what they're looking for in your abstract. So it's a very important document to look at. Don't just go ahead and submit the abstract to me via email. Look at this first, because otherwise, you're not going to be getting everything they need to know about the Poster Showcase.
Thank you, Julie. And again, this guidance document, which will, if you click on those links or go to on the IAEM webpage, this is really your go-to document. It has all of the information that you need to know in it, including the dates, which are right there on the front. And it benefits you from a participant standpoint to really know before you engage in this event, what are the rules of submission? What about the presentation portion? How will you be evaluated against that standard? So between the webinar today and the recording that will follow and the guidance document, we will be covering all of the usual questions. Julie, additional items to add?
No, I think you covered it perfectly. Thanks, Kathy.
This is our, excuse me, second year of having participants competing against a standard rather than each other. The change in the Poster Showcase format has really increased our participation over the past year, and it encourages students, academics, and practitioners alike to share the outcomes and results from projects and findings in either a non-competitive environment or if you choose to compete against that standard. As we've stated earlier in the presentation, the goal of the Poster Showcase is to share your work with a broader audience of your peers and colleagues. Coming up next in front of you are the categories. And because of the individuals are competing against a standard, the competition, again, is fair and transparent. And we've got both Jean Marie, who you heard about, is one of our mentors and coaches and was unable to be with us today, but has an integral part of putting all of this together and will be involved if you choose to take advantage of that mentoring. And then Dwayne, is there anything else that you would like to add, or Julie at this point?
I just want to say that, we continue to expand this to make it as easy as possible for the participants. So don't be afraid, reach out to us with your questions, whether today or later. Make sure, as Julie said, you read all the documentation, and we're here to help you to make this easy.
And the only thing I want to add is that it's important, you'll see on here the competitive categories. It's important that when you do submit your abstract that you note that you are entering into the competitive division and what category you are in. And also, as Kathy had mentioned before, you are competing against a standard and not against each other. So there is the opportunity for more than one person in any particular category or any particular division to achieve the gold, silver, or bronze recognition. So it's not just one person per recognition category. It can be multiple people.
I just want to interject one thing, and I know it is in the guidance documents that we talked about, but it is important is that you can only do one entry, though. That is something to keep in mind, that when you're reviewing this and deciding what area that you would like to participate in, whether you want to be in the competitive category or non-competitive, please understand you have you're submitting one entry.
All right, for those of you that are entering in the competitive division in the student category, there are you have to supply additional documentation verifying that you are a student. So what you need is a copy of your ID card will not suffice. We prefer a PDF of an enrollment letter or the scheduled classes showing the academic year. There'll be no exceptions for this, unfortunately, and any abstract submitted without this proof or the student status will be declined.
Dwayne, do you want to go through the non-competitive division guidelines?
Sure. Absolutely. So it's something that we added a few years ago because there were people we felt that had good information to share, but they didn't really want to be competitive. And as you heard in the last category, everybody could be gold. So that's a good thing. And with this category, this is a way for you to not go through the competition, but maybe you have something exciting to share about your work of your agency, your personal work, your jurisdiction, some practice that you're involved in that you want to share with the emergency management community. And that's why we have the non-competitive category division that you can get in. So whatever it is, you can submit the abstract for it. And this is your opportunity to share all these things with your colleagues. However, I do want to emphasize, and we'll say this a few times, this is not commercial or for marketing. So this is you demonstrating your personal work and being able to share it with our community. So when we look at the abstract submission requirements, which again are all in the guidance document, these are all the things that you need. So you start with your title of your abstract, the name of the presenter, your affiliation, addresses, phone numbers, a primary and alternate email address. Participants also, as we mentioned, you're either going to mention that you're in the competitive division and which one of the breakdowns there, or the non-competitive division. The abstract should be about no more than 250 words. Your title should be no more than 10 words. And then the selection committee will look at your abstract and we'll look at to see if there's any editing that needs done, and if it's good grammar, if you have clarity, proper usage. So we will assist you. So don't get too worried if you put something in. Again, we're here to help you. We want to demonstrate to the EM community the good work that you're all doing. The presentation theme must reflect research, experience, practice, or findings connected to the emergency management or related fields. You should list your collaborators, if you're a student, your advisor, and departments you're in. If you have any funding source, you should also put that in. If you're with a university doing research where you have to have an institutional review board, you need proof that has been submitted and approved by your IRB. This has to come into Julie. This is an additional requirement for students, especially that are doing research. Many times, obviously, if a student is out there doing research, they'll already understand this process. But all students must submit a letter via email, attachment of a PDF from the academic institution showing enrollment again in the 2017-28 academic year.
So once again, this is a screenshot taken directly from the guidance document. And since everyone who is accepted will present a poster to the conference attendees for the competition, we also need you to include the following information done in a uniform manner. Please keep in mind, as Dwayne has already emphasized, our goal in all of the guidance that is provided is that we're here to help. We're here to encourage. We really want to see a freedom of expression and creativity, and expression and thought is still all yours. But what we really are striving for is to make sure that we have the information that we've requested from all of those who submit, and there's some additional information that we're going to ask you to include within your poster presentation. Dwayne, if you could highlight those items, please.
Sure, and many of you may be familiar with other poster presentations and their respective formats, but we're a little different organization and we conduct our poster showcase a little differently. We're very, very interested in what you have to share with the emergency management community, and what and how you choose to share it is also part of the message. So having said this, if this is your first time or you're not sure what you should do or submit, please reach out to us. Please submit something. We are more than happy to help you however we can. If you have creative and good ideas out there, we want to help you put them out in front of our audience. So all participants in both the competitive and non-competitive divisions have the opportunity to consult with one of our coaches, and I think we're up to 3 or 4 coaches this year, and we'll be able to provide you feedback on poster development, on-site presentations, so when you give your oral presentation, and answer any other questions related to the evaluation guidelines. We've gone to great lengths these last couple of years with this committee to try and spell this all out for you to make it as easy as possible, but we're still here to help you however we can if you reach out to Jean Marie, myself, any of the other committee members. Excuse me. Another thing that's very important that you remember when you're doing a poster is that it is research and it requires citation. And we want to see that citation. So if you're thinking that you're going to develop a poster based on some work project, excuse me, that your company has or something that you're working on, you know, it's not created in a vacuum. So you need to look and see. Maybe there's standard operating guidelines. Maybe there's some other guiding policy from your organization. Maybe it's something new that you're developing, but there is policies and procedures. And so we need to see that citation. We need to make sure that you have that reference information out there. And again, these are things that you can ask us when you're trying to figure out exactly how your poster should be laid out. So whatever it is, we want to see the source of the poster for the times when a person is looking at your poster. So your poster will be on display throughout the conference, and people will be walking up and looking at it even when you're not there. And so we want to have this citation there so that people can look at it and see where your information is referenced from. So please expand upon your objectives, your findings, conclusions, and your directions for future practices. One of the most important things that you'll do is, you know, you'll have your poster with your research, and then where do we go from here? So if somebody wants to pick it up and take it to the next level, what is that level? So that's very important for us.
Susama?
Again. Yes. So while the title implies that your final product, this final PDF that we're asking for, is not changeable, it is. We want to provide you with the best opportunity and most favorable situation to present yourself and your work. Our poster showcase working group will review every poster PDF, competitive or not, and send back feedback. We start with your basic poster requirement, and we've included that graphic for you once again. And we understand and respect how important your poster is to you, and any feedback we offer is designed to better your content, your formatting, or your presentation in general. As a reminder, no logos of any kind. This should be your work, not your teammates, or your mentors, or your colleagues, or your professors. We look forward to receiving posters developed for the IAEM conference, reflecting our 2018 theme, Opportunities and Innovations in Emergency Management. And I just want to take another second here to re-emphasize, as my colleagues have already said, we are here to help all of you. We are not here to dissuade anyone from participating. And this is why we go to such great lengths to be helpful and to coach. And additionally, you will have plenty of time to incorporate the feedback we give you on the PDFs so that you can make any changes and printed prior to having to bring it to the conference. We send all those changes by email, and you can ask for clarification and more coaching if you need that. Does anybody have anything you want to add to this, what I've said so far?
The only thing I
think
want to
you
ask, Susma,
summed it up well.
is that they really mean that. This is Julie. They really mean it when they will provide feedback and feedback on whatever question you may have. No dumb question is a bad question. And don't think that just because you're asked a question, it may hurt you in the end as far as whether you'll be accepted into the poster showcase or whether it will accept if you're in the competitive division, the gold, silver, bronze recognition. Because it doesn't. It's just helping you prepare for what you are submitting and helping get your poster ready for presentation at the conference. So please do feel free to reach out to these guys because they will provide valuable feedback if you are so inclined to reach out to them.
Thank you, Julie. Kathy, before you go on, if I could just add one more thing here. Folks, Julie really reminded me of an important point about our feedback. The working group has a variety of perspectives, and that's what we're offering to all of you as you submit. So as you develop your presentations and you put it on to these posters, we understand that you have a specific perspective. Well, when we look at it, we come from many different perspectives and we process however we process it. Well, we in turn take that and try to work that toward your advantage. So when we provide feedback, we're actually giving you feedback not only from our professional backgrounds, of which, we all do different things within emergency management, but also we've been attending this conference for years. We've all been a part of planning the conference. So whatever we offer you will not only be about developing your poster, but it'll also be about giving you a better presentation overall. And then these are usually tips that you can use over and over. And I found it to be very helpful. I know we have taught each other quite a bit. And the thing is that we've also learned from our poster participants about the things that we do. And the changes that we've made have come from our participants as well. So the feedback that we get is a result of the feedback that we've also gotten from our participants. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Susma. Go ahead and go to the next slide. These photos are from our 2017 conference in Long Beach, and you can see how the posters are displayed on boards there. So the poster dimension, and again, I emphasize that all of this information that we're going through is contained in the guide, but your poster cannot be more than 4 feet in height and width. And when you put this together, please focus on a balance of text, images, and white space. Because as the folks come by and your colleagues look at these, you really want your poster to get their attention and draw them in. It should also be readable from a distance of about 4 to 6 feet, because when they get that attention-grabbing, highly visual poster that they come up, they're still going to have to be able to read that with people standing in front of them or that distance of 4 to 6 feet. And it's very important, and we chuckle about having to remind people, but you would be surprised, and Susma and Dwayne have already noted, that we've been doing this for a while, and we still see posters with errors. So the reminder is your poster should be free of errors. And the poster is expected to be developed specifically for the IAEM conference. And I know my colleagues have echoed that already, that while we recognize that poster contests and poster showcase events or fair shares are available in other arenas in the emergency management community, this is a unique poster showcase event, and therefore that's why we're taking the extra time to go through the guidance, to refer you to the guidance documents, and encourage you to know that these documents and these specifications are crafted specifically for this poster showcase event at the IAEM conference. Resources and examples for the academic posters can also be found in your guidance document in Appendix 1. So Julie, I know that you're going to cover next where the more on the logistics.
Yeah, so as Kathy was mentioning, excuse me, the posters cannot be larger than 4 by 4 feet. And the reason being is that we put these posters on these rolling boards. You can see it here in the picture. And the rolling boards will only fit so much. So don't go a little bit over, because it won't work. It will max, but you won't be able to use the push pins to put it into the board. So please keep it at that. You can go smaller, but do not go larger. The exact location of where these boards will be placed will be in a prime location for attendees to be viewing as they're walking through to various sessions. We are going out to the DeVos Center, Convention Center in Grand Rapids here soon, and we'll be spotting a great location for that, and we'll be letting everyone know exactly where that is. All people that are accepted in the poster showcase must have their posters set up for display by Sunday, October 21st at 3 p.m. You can set up before if you want to, no problem, but they must be set up by that point in time. That's when most people are getting there. We want everybody to be viewing the posters, getting a good look at it, and it's important to have it up at that point in time. All participants in both the competitive and non-competitive must be available for the poster presentation session on Tuesday, October 23rd, during the morning program break. And I will be sending emails to everybody again, reminding them of all this. It's also in the guidance as well, but just be aware that you must be there for that one. Those that are competing in the competitive division must be there for the competitive evaluation session on Monday evening. Again, all this will be coming to you in the email and is available in the guidance.
Here we have Dr. Ray Chang on the left side of your screen, and Dr. Chang was our only gold standard winner from last year as he was presenting his poster to the judges. So as we talk about the evaluation criteria, I'd like to remind you the purpose of the poster showcase presentation is to convey information to a wide audience, the significance of your research project, practice, or general findings to practitioners and scholars in the emergency management community, as well as the public. Right next to Ray's photo, you can see the rubric, or at least if you have really great eyes, you can see the rubric that the judges will be used for the competition. So there are no surprises. And once again, you can take a closer look at that rubric in the guidance document. Everyone who participates is evaluated by the same rubric on a team of judges, which usually includes 2 practitioners and 2 academics. We have really gone over and above to ensure transparency and to make sure that this process is fair and equitable. So when we do our call for judges, we also ask for individuals ask the individuals to identify their affiliations, whether it's their academic affiliation. We also ask them if they are familiar with anyone who is presenting in the program, because we want to eliminate conflicts of interest or even an appearance of a conflict of interest. And when we do that call for judges, we ask for 1 or 2 additional folks who are willing to serve in that capacity, because it is very important for us as this planning group and to maintain the integrity of this showcase event is to have it be fair and equitable. And if we find, once we get to the location, that there becomes a conflict, we have a judge who has been part of the orientation session, has been part of understanding how the rubric works, and has been working alongside their colleagues in that judging capacity that then can be part of that team. So we do think it's very important to have all of the bases covered. Participants in the competitive division must be present, as Julie said, to present the poster at the event. And a select panel of evaluators will assess the poster showcase presentations of those who elect to be in the competitive division on Monday, October 22nd, and that's 6:30 to 7:30 Eastern Time. The exact time of each participant presentation is determined at a later date. Once again, this information is contained in the guidance, but your presentation must be no more than 4 minutes of length, with an additional 2 minutes to answer questions from the evaluators or the judging panel. The presentation should be attention-grabbing and encourage questions from the evaluators. A member of the judging panel will serve as a timekeeper and notify the presenter when 4 minutes has ended. That is a new position that we have added based on the feedback that we've received from other participants in previous years. So we listen and we incorporate those changes. And then participants in the competitive division should expect questions concerning research methods used, significance of the content for practicing emergency managers. And I'm sorry, I have to.
You want to continue on for us, Susma?
Yes. So aside from the research methods, the significance of the content, controversial aspects of any findings, future directions for your research based on your current findings. And I'm going to ask Dwayne, you worked with Jean Marie to develop the rubric and testing it out for us. What are your thoughts or any observations that you'd like to share with our audience today about the rubric?
Well, the first and most important thing anytime you develop any research like this is you need to look at the rubrics to figure out what we're looking for, so that you make sure that you line up your poster and use your research based upon that rubric. We use feedback, as has been stated earlier, from both participants and the judges to constantly be updating, making sure that our rubric is up to date and not only meets our needs, but more importantly, meets your needs. I can tell you over the last couple years, we've had extensive conversations with the judges that have judged for us, with people on the committee. We meet on a monthly basis and we discuss the rubric to make sure that it's the most up-to-date and it's fair, and that it gives the participants something very grounded and solid that they can look at to make sure when they're developing their poster, they understand how they're being judged. So please make sure you look at the rubric. And so when you're designing your poster, you can get the most points possible. Again, we meet with the committee all year to make these changes. We're in a constant state of continuous improvement. So every year, I think the committee would tell you that we get better and better and better because of the feedback we get from the participants and the feedback we get from our volunteer judges. So just like a good emergency manager, we're always in a continuous improvement mode, and we're looking for those ideas. And so when we develop this rubric, again, it's changed a few times and it's changed on that feedback. So if I can say nothing else that you'll hear today, please look at the rubric as you're developing your poster.
Yeah, and I'd like to add one more thing. Julie, if you go back one slide really quickly. The gentleman you saw in the photo, Dr. Ray Chang here, so he has now joined our working group. So going forward, he'll be a part of everything that we're doing. So as a participant now, he will be a coach. So for all of you who are listening and wondering, all right, the perspectives of these judges, and, you've only written the rubric, what is it like to actually have to put together my presentation on the other side of it? You'll actually have a a participant who can coach you through perhaps expectations or perspectives of taking what Dwayne said about taking the rubric and creating a presentation that fits that. Okay, Julie, thanks. So here we have, Kathy, you're back. Great.
I'm back. No worries. Thank you. Teamwork. This is how we do it. Here are the important dates all on one slide. Everything that you need, of course, as we've emphasized, is in the guidance document, and we are almost at the end of our webinar. So thank you so much for participating with us today. So if you have not already done so, please put any questions that you have in the chat box and make sure that you send them in now. Julie and Susuma are looking through those questions that we have already been received. So again, I encourage you to enter your question that you have in that chat box, and we will get that information as quickly as we can. Julie, you received questions?
So Julie's actually sent me a few questions already. So while she's looking through the remaining, I will start on the ones that she's already got through. The first one is, will we get a copy of the slides emailed to us after the webinar? And we're actually going to give you better than the slides. We're going to give you a recording of the webinar. And in about a week or so, this will be posted to the IAEM website. And you got the link for the poster showcase at the very beginning of this. It will be posted, and also you'll get an email with the link. So if you registered for this, you will absolutely get the link. Another question that came in is, with the coaching and the mentoring, I believe the deadline to, let me just go back a couple of slides here. The deadline to mentor was based on when you can reach out for mentoring from June 4th to August 15th if you're interested in getting feedback as you develop. But let's say you forget to do that or decide you don't need it at that point. But now you've gotten feedback. So you realize, hey, you do want some coaching or mentoring, whatever you want to call it. Maybe you want to have that conversation. It's not too late at that point. You can absolutely send an email back to whomever is sending the feedback to you. You can get on the phone with somebody on the working group who can walk you through the feedback line by line and answer those questions. The reason we have a various group, we've got our practitioners as well as our academics. So depending on the side that you or your question may come from, or the technicality of, did I just make up a word, technicality? No, that's a real word. Depending on what your question may be, you may need a different person answering it. So we should be able to handle that for you, but we absolutely believe in tailoring what it is that you actually need. And the last question I have here is, do you recommend sending any follow-ups after the last PDFs or after the feedbacks? And I want to tell you, a lot of people don't, but last year we actually had somebody who sent, I happened to be the person who was, who sent out all the feedback emails from the committee. Because we did it as a group, and then we organized it, and then I just happened to be the person who sent the email. And this person sent me the final version of their poster, and it turned out that there was a typo in their title. So because the participant had sent me the PDF, I was able to go back and say, hey, listen, there's a typo. So before you do that final printing, fix the typo. So while we don't require you to send us the updated version after you get your feedback, if you just want another set of eyes, I don't think any of us would say no to that. Julie, did we address all the questions?
One other question is just as far as how do you submit your abstract? And that needs to come to me, Julie Husk, at jhusk@iaem.com. That is in the guidance. That's also on the website. And again, just a reminder, the deadline for the abstract submission to enter into the poster showcase is May 18th at 5 p.m. That's a Friday.
Yeah. So a Word document would work.
And again, after everyone submits by May 18th, we just want to let everyone know, and the schedule is there. is participants will be notified of their selection into the Poster Showcase event by June 4th. And your entry into the Poster Showcase is once again that abstract that you send to Julie Husk.
If I can just add one last thing, please reach out to us for assistance and run your ideas by your network. Don't get too wrapped around the axles of your abstract. Sometimes people try to dig too deep and they kind of outsmart themselves. So I'm sure whatever idea you have, whatever you want to present, it's going to be great and we're going to love it. And as Susma said, and as Kathy said, and Julie said, we go back and forth. I've had people contact me via phone, and we've had long conversations, and I've had people that have contacted me via email, and we've gone back and forth to help them out. And the one important thing I want to mention also is that those of us that are coaches not only coach you, but we coach the judges, and we are not the judges. So I think that's important. Sometimes people, I think, get a little nervous about reaching out because they think that the coach is also judging. We're not judging, we're just here to help you. So we'll do whatever we can. Please reach out to us. Thank you.
That's a great point, Dwayne, and thank you for reiterating that, because that is part of that piece that we strive so hard to maintain the integrity. The call for judges is completely separate than the mentoring coaching opportunity, and they are different people. And if someone worked on the rubric, they're not someone who is going to be judging you. They are going to be coaching with you, but we maintain that separation between those who judge and those who provide impact and input and feedback, which we are all willing to do. Going back to the overall goal of this is to showcase information, your findings, your research to the broader audience of your peers, practitioners, students, academics, and then, of course, afterwards, wouldn't it be great to take that poster and then share it with members of your community? So thank you all for joining us today. The contact information is on the slide. We appreciate your time and your interest in the International Association of Emergency Managers Poster Showcase event. And remember, the call for abstracts is now open. So please get those to us. Get them to Julie by May 18th, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And Julie, if you'll again reiterate for our audience when this recording will be posted on the Poster Showcase page and the IAEM website.
Yes, the recording should be available by the end of April, I hope sooner, and it will be posted on the IAEMconference.info website, which is our conference website. I also will be sending a copy of this to everyone that's registered for the conference. So look for it, hopefully soon.
And thank you very much. My colleagues, teammates, do any of you have anything else that you would like to add?
Nope, just thank you very much. And if you have a great idea, send it to us so we can help you develop it.
I would just like to add, if you are sitting in the audience and you're not sure if you should do it because you've never done anything like this before, you should do it, because this is a safe place to do this. And we love helping people succeed.
Thank you very much, and thank you all for joining us today, and have a wonderful day, and we look forward to seeing your abstract submission.